Birthday greetings, bottle of wine. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 57?
Line up your shot, follow through. My father's voice was the only thing that cut through the silence. Surrounded by greenery so green it was almost unnatural, with the sun sweltering down on me, I tried to listen to my dad's usually unsolicited but always spot-on guidance before I swung my golf club. Just then, another golf cart pulled up full of men. I can feel their eyes on me. They weren't leering, they were judgmental. And they were exactly what I needed to whack the crap out of the ball. I was 10. Call me naive, but I was shocked at how little progress we've made in the workplace when I entered it 10 years ago. Men might not be slapping their secretaries' asses anymore, but I can point to several instances where my professional development has been stunted because of my gender. Upon further reflection on why I was so shocked, I came to two realizations. Of course, they both stemmed from my father, but not why you might expect. My father never led me to believe that one's aptitude was dictated by their gender. He instilled in me at a young age that my femininity wasn't an automatic translation to less than. Secondly, even though he died suddenly when I was 25, it was the years he spent instructing me on the golf course of all places that taught me how to hold my own with the men I now encounter in conference rooms on studio lots. You see, my dad, Frank, he didn't have any sons, and he was an avid golfer. Naturally, he wanted to share his favorite pastime with his children, and some fathers might turn to a nephew to enjoy the links with, but not Frank. My younger sister and I were dragged kicking and screaming into lessons as soon as we were old enough to hold a club, and we couldn't tantrum our way out of it either. Frank was an Irish-Italian man from New York with a temper to match. If we complained too much, he could make the Incredible Hulk seem like the Jolly Green Giant. And please don't get me started on family outings to mini golf, because they were nightmares. I always envied the kids who got to smack the ball around to their little heart's content. Frank, without fail, made what should have been a low-stakes recreational activity into a high-pressure putting lesson. There was a course we'd always go to on our family vacations in Cape Cod that I used to dread. Whereas other kids would probably get excited about hitting their ball through a windmill and around a dinosaur, I fretted at the tender age of 8 of how I could make a birdie. However, I discovered benefits to golfing with Dad, apart from the obvious, and the obvious is obviously the snack cart. There's nothing that an overachieving eldest daughter loves more than making her father happy. And Frank was so eager for me to golf with him that he'd happily purchase all pink golf gear for me. Pink clubs, pink golf balls, pink clothes, pink tees, pink shoes. He also never protested that I wanted to look cute on the course, because another benefit of golf is that you can wear a full face of makeup while playing it. In fact, I think he embraced it. My dad and I shared a lot of similarities, so I think we equally got a thrill when the other men on the course would laugh at me heading to a tee in my little outfit and sparkly golf clubs, only to shut them up moments later when I hit the ball. Frank and I would arrive at some father-son holiday scramble and battle the haze of cigar smoke wafting from a gaggle of southern good old boys. Their amused, condescending gazes on me and my unapologetically pink ensemble were palpable as I headed to the tee box. Frank, like a dutiful guard dog, was never far behind. Line up your shot, follow through, he'd remind me. Moments later, I would promptly silence the old codgers when I'd hit the ball further and better than their sons. One time we were playing in a foursome with another father and son, and I was confused when they left the course halfway through the round. Frank told me it was because we were beating them so badly. I inherited my competitiveness from my father, so I was delighted to hear it. As I began reflecting on the all too brief time I had with him, I couldn't believe that my father, a conservative man who was in his prime in the 80s and 90s, was a low-key feminist. Because oddly enough, through forcing me to play golf with him, Frank taught me a deeply valuable lesson. I didn't have to try to fit in or downplay my femininity to exist in a male-dominated space and be seen as valid. It's funny to me because my dad probably thought of an angry, bra-burning woman who didn't shave her legs when he heard the term feminist. But I'd argue that his encouragement of me to take up space as my authentic self, no matter what space I was in, was downright radical. Together, we weaponized my ultra-feminine appearance against the men who sought to dismiss me for it. The pink would lull them into a false sense of security about their own skill, only for me to shatter it with a well-placed shot. A former Division I college athlete, Frank also coached my Little League softball teams, and I will never forget another phrase he loved to pull out when teaching us how to throw. Don't throw like a girl, throw like a softball player. While there are plenty of women who can whip the hell out of a ball, in the early aughts, it was his way of encouraging us. With his classic boomer tough love, he drove home that my gender didn't determine what I could achieve. I haven't touched a golf club since my dad died. Honestly, I don't know how to do it without him. It was our thing, and doing it with someone else feels wrong. And I'd give anything to golf another 18 holes with him. Hell, I'd even take a needlessly intense round of mini golf. Yet, even though I probably can't pick up a 9-iron without bursting into tears, my consolation is that I'm putting everything he taught me on the links into practice. Those hours on the golf course are why I could leave a job earlier this year, working for a man about the age Frank would have been, after several months of being belittled for my gender. If my father, the most important man for the first 25 years of my life, wouldn't let his peers treat me like that, why on earth was I going to let them? Leaving that job was the scariest thing I've ever done, and though Frank isn't here with me, his presence gave me the courage to do it. Frank never tried to make me fit in with the boys, and that's why I'm not quite so intimidated in a room full of old men when I share my ideas. I can still hear his voice. Line up your shot, follow through. I strive to make him proud by living the lessons he taught me. And sorry, not sorry, I still get a kick out of the faces men make when I tell them I know my way around a set of golf clubs. Pink ones, of course. And I look forward to the day when I can get back on the links and show them.